kind of a machines you are using, how long it will be going to function. That is totally depending on the amount of the work, the amount of the load that you are giving to the machine, as well as the raw material. So whenever you are establishing any kind of the processing industry, so it should be related to the some of the material that we use for the producing of the any kind of the processed product. So in order to optimize the production level, so how to optimize the production level, each and every processing unit is, sometimes we call it as a industry, small scale industry as well as a large scale industry. Why we are using the small scale industry? Because it is having the more amount of the area in case of the large scale, less amount of the area in case of the small scale, which is occupied in terms of the land as well as the temporal space for the functioning, or to give the maximum output from the established processing unit. Okay. Now in this context, next one is minimum movement. So whenever you establish, so suppose you are seeing our lab, right? So whenever we are seeing our lab, so the movement of the machine, the movement of the men, the movement of the material should be very less, thereby our energy can be able to conserve, right? So thus the minimum movement of the source provide the efficiency, right? So it will going to, so the people are categorizing the different type of versions of machine from the raw material to final product. So raw material, what material we are getting, as well as the grading, as well as trimming. If you are going for the process or frozen process, for the process will be line without any obstruction. So these line will be sometime the people Z U line or depths of things are there. So in next class we will do. That's why minimum movement, whatever alignment of this as well as the raw material and human resources you deploy, so it need to have a minimum movement within the processing area. So for that, what we exactly need, by this we can able to increase the efficiency of the processing unit. So that's why the minimum amount of the energy it can be used, as well as it will give the maximum output. So next one will be unidirectional flow. So thing is, because if anything you are starting in the processing unit, suppose unidirectional movement is nothing but washing is somewhere, and means disinfecting is somewhere, cleaning up the utensils is somewhere, as well as the minimal processing is somewhere. But everything, whatever important operations we are implementing in the processing industry, it should be in the line. So that's why it should be unidirectional. So that's why we should not consume the more amount of the energy, and we should not confuse to miss the any kind of the chain of the action, right? So for that sake, we need to follow the principles of the unidirectional flow. So in this unidirectional flow, what exactly we have to follow? All material should be progressively move towards the same direction, toward the stage of the completion, because whatever final product we are getting, so it is leading to the final stage of the production. So initial stage of the production or procurement of the raw material to the reaching to the final product. So it should be unidirectional movement, it should not be in the zigzag motion. So the next one will be maximum protection is the one of the principle whenever you are establishing the processing unit. So the maximum protection you should deploy for the layout are to ensure the protection of the material as well as the machines, because the working storage, so whatever working area you are implementing, it should be a maximum protection area, because if you are unable to protect your raw material, you are unable to protect your machine, if you are unable to protect the your storage conditions, so the entire processing unit will be going to get huge loss in long run. So next one is the next principle, maximum flexibility. Maximum flexibility in the sense, because whenever you are laying out the any kind of the processing unit, you should not adhere to the rigid and permanent, right? So that's why we are getting nowadays, wherever you go, wherever you visit, the most of the processing units are they made up of the puff panels. Puff panels is nothing but you need not to go for the hard construction like a basement with the cement or anything else, right? These are the puff panels you can able to displace to anywhere. So wherever you, if you want to expand your unit, so thereby it will be very easy to displace the any kind of the walls or anything. So you can able to displace one place to the other place. So that is the possible. So that's why you need to implement the maximum flexibility in case of the processing unit. Thereby, so what will be going to happen if the need arises? What exactly he is saying? If the need arises, the plant layout should be able to change itself. So without being expense. So that's why it should not be expensive whenever you are reconstructing, whenever you are collapsing the already organized structure. So it will be so expensive to restructure. So for that, so you need to have a maximum flexibility. So next principle is safety and security. Safety in terms of the environment, right? Safety in terms of the environment that you use. Everybody is hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So environment, food processing unit should be safe for the worker as well as the machines. So there should be minimum contact of the labors to the chemicals as well as the environment. So whenever we are going for the preservative or any chemicals, so that should not be in the premises of the any kind of the workers. So that's why whenever we are entering any processing industries, first thing is hygiene condition. First we will see the health conditions of the people, whether he is healthy or not. If he is not healthy, so we never be going to allow him to work in the processing industry. Even if he is getting the any kind of the allergy also, there is a prohibition according to the rules and the regulations of the Food Safety Standard Authority of India. All rules and regulations we are following from the FSSAI. So we are not following any kind of the or APEDA. APEDA is only for the export. FPO we are not following because FPO, Food Adulteration Act, Food Product Orders, these are the all regulations. They consolidated and they made into the big rules and regulations under the FSSAI, which is working under the MOFPI. What that mean? What is the meaning of that acronym?
Ministry of
Food Processing Industries. So under this, so the FSSAI is working. So entire safety as well as the security concerns, they will be going to adapt in the processing industry. Whenever the people are giving the license, FSSAI will be going to give the license to the processing unit for the establishment. When they are coming for the audit, all kind of these principles they will be going to follow when they go for auditing. If they are finding any kind of the errors or hazard analysis of a critical control point, so they will be going to raise the objection by the any kind of the issue of the registration which is issued by the FSSAI. So that's why we need to concern different principles. What are those principles? You enlist?
integration of all factors.
Minimum movement, unidirectional flow,
Maximum protection.
maximum flexibility, safety and security.
now you tell, Abhi bata, how you can remember those. First one is, so first one is we have to come for the processing unit. When we talk about the processing unit, we will come for the integration of the all factors, right? So that first principle will be integration of the all factors, so that you know human resources, machines as well as the raw material. These are the factors which is associated with the integration of all factors. First principle is integration of all factors. The second,
All factors.
the second will be minimum movement. So the entire raw material, men as well as the machine, so it need the movement because this entire processing line is the dynamic. So that's why, so next will be, you have to remember the minimum movement is there, right? So whenever movement is there, whether it is unidirectional or multidirectional, so you should get the doubt. So it should be unidirectional, right? So first three principles are integration of the all factors, minimum movement, unidirectional flow. So maximum protection, because whatever we are giving, maximum protection for our men as well as the raw material for the machine also. We have to give the maximum protection, maximum flexibility for the entire unit, maximum flexibility for the entire unit, safety and security for what? Entire processing unit. So safety and security for the entire processing unit. You tell me, what are those principles? Anybody?
Integration of all factors.
Minimum movement, unidirectional flow, maximum protection, maximum flexibility, safety and security.
Yes, very good. Okay, now according to the, because these entire rules and regulation which is promulgated under the law and act of the FPO, these entire guidelines are consolidated under the FSSI. Now we are not speaking about the FPO. So when you go for the processing of the any kind of the value added product, so there you will be going to learn the rules and regulations of the FPO. FPO, what exactly it will be going to say? So whenever you are making the any kind of the product, it need to contain the minimum amount of the constitutes. So like in case of the jam, how much amount of the TSS it should be. So they will be going to formulate the some rules. So jam only should have at least 68% of the TSS. So if it is below 68, it is not acceptable by the rules and regulations promulgated by the FPO. So these entire rules are now under the FSSI, right? So according to the FPO, the people are saying the guidelines, because of principles and the guidelines for the location of the processing unit we are saying. So our chapter is like that. So cottage scale fruit processing unit, the minimum capacity of this specified, because whenever you are establishing the any kind of the processing unit, it should be cottage industry because it will be the small scale. When you are specified to the small scale, definitely it need to have some capacity. So how much amount of the capacity it need to process? 50 metric tons per annum or half ton per day. Because whenever you are establishing the any cottage scale of the food processing unit, so it need to have a capacity to generate the value added products up to 50 metric tons per annum, but per day the half ton capacity only. So according to their norms. So the minimum manufacturing area, so whatever, because we are saying minimum manufacturing area is required for that cottage industry is 60 square meter of area minimum, because maximum whatever you need, it doesn't matter, but minimum these are the rules. Whenever we are promulgating the any kind of the rules and regulation, definitely we need to see the minimum standards. So maximum doesn't matter. Maximum, whenever you are adding the maximum ingredient, so it will be very good for health, right? Maximum amount of the fruit pulp, maximum amount of the fruit, means TSS, you are maintaining the all kind of the antioxidants, you are getting the all additives more, so no problem. But there should be a rules and regulation, at least you need to maintain the minimum amount, right? So for that also, area expansion for the establishment of the processing unit also you need to consider. So area for the raw material also you have to confine to the separate area. Okay. So in that separate area, only 15 square meters of the land area you have to allocate to the raw material inlet. So suppose whenever you are establishing the any kind of the processing industry, first thing is procurement of the raw material. So whenever you are procuring the raw material, it should enter into the processing area. So while it is entering into the processing area, you need to have some area for the raw material storage. So for that, we are assigning the 15 square meter for the raw material storage. So minimum manufacturing area for the cottage scale is, this is the area where we can use for the manufacturing of the different value added products. So that area is needed around or about 60 square meters. Remember, the minimum area requirement for the finished good storage, because whenever you are preparing the all kind of the jam and jellies or marmalade or any kind of the processed product, this is the finished product, but raw material that we are using for the making of that product is totally different. But when we are making that kind of the product, definitely we need to assign some amount of the area. So how much amount of area we need to allocate?
35.
How much area? Right, 35. So So now you know, in case of the Carter scale of the processing unit, to establish that one, so you need to allocate the some amount of the capacity as well as, because whenever you are establishing the 50 metric ton capacity processing unit or half ton per day capacity of the processing unit, you need to allocate the 50 square meters for the manufacturing area, 60 square meters for the manufacturing area, 15 square meters for the raw material, right? 35 square meters for the finished goods storage, right? So now we are going for the large scale processing unit. So how much amount of metric tons it is having the capacity? 250 metric tons per annum or more than 2 metric tons per day. So that will be going to come under the category of large scale processing unit, right? So minimum specified manufacturing area for this large scale is 300 square meters. For the raw material storage is 100 square meters. For the finished product is 100. So that's why we can easy to remember for the large. So it is having the capacity of the 250 metric tons or 2 metric tons or more than 2 metric tons per day. Understood? 252, okay, capacity. But in case of the manufacturing area, 300 square meters, but for raw material 100, for the finished product is 100. So this is the guidelines to establish the large scale processing unit. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So okay, you can remember all these lines because tomorrow test will be there. So only whichever you remember that you will be going to attempt the question. Today also after the class you have to attempt the questions. Everybody got the ID? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Everybody got the ID? Tarun, have you communicated with this?
Yes, sir. I have shared a file in the group also, sir.
Okay, okay. So everybody there?
Yes, sir.
So you had to take that ID. So for that, what you had to do exactly? And even I shared into the WhatsApp also. Tarun, you forward those things. So just you see and give the feedback. If it is good, then we will be going to follow. So this is the test related to the any kind of test we can conduct. So this is the, you have to visit the www.classmarker.com, and so you have to enter the registration code that I have assigned to you according to the ID number. Okay, there you will be going to fill off your personal details. So your name as well as the some of the things, right? So whenever you are filling the your details, so what you will be going to get the some interface. So testing interface you will get. So they where, because register fee, so there they will be going to display the register fee. So when you are clicking on that, so test takers only, you have to click on the test takers, not admin block. So in that you have to click one more, because our subject is, there are two components will be there: processing of horticulture crops, only processing of horticultural crops, PHTH 352, that only you have to click. Then the test will be going to start. So if you are ready, then we can start within 5 minutes in the online. So you can able to get some amount of the information. If you are getting the any kind of the problem, so I can able to rectify. Okay. Now the classification, are you able to see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So according to the classifications of FEO 1955 specifications, they categorize the entire processing units into the two categories: scale A category, scale B category. So whatever we have learned earlier, so that can be we formulated in the form of a table. So that is production capacity per annum and minimum manufacturing area, or so storage area for raw material, area for the finished goods. So in case of the B category, the capacity is more compared to the A category, right? So in case of the B category, the production capacity is 100 to 250 metric tons. The manufacturing area is 150, storage area is 40, and the area for the finished goods is 80. But in case of the A category, the production capacity for that processing unit is very less, 50 to 100, metric tons only. So it will be going to vary. For minimum manufacturing area 30, means whatever storage area we are assigning for the raw material is 30, as well as the area for the finished good is 50. Okay, so this is the one of the conditions when you go for the small scale industry as well as the large scale industry. So can be categorized into the two groups. Okay, now the brief explanation, because most of the people they will get confused, so that's why I'm making a slide. Food Product Order was operated under the Food Product Act 1955, right? The year you remember. Food Product Order Act or Food Product Act is 1955 and prescribed the standard hygienic condition for the manufacturing of the fruits and vegetables. So the Food Product Act 1955, because it was working under the MOFPI. So when food safety and standard was passed in the parliament, so because in 2006 they passed the Food Safety and Standards Act. So when they passed that act, definitely means what they have done, as for the provisions of the Food Safety and Standard Act, consolidated law related to the FPA, food prevention of PFA, Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, it is a wrong, right? PFA as well as FPO. So what will be going to happen? They consolidated all these laws under the Food Safety Standard Authority of India for laying down the science-based standards for the articles food, as well as to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale, import, to ensure the availability of the safe, right? So but in details you will be going to see whenever you go for the FSSI FSSI, when you browse the website, so you will be going to get the all kind of the rules, regulations, FSSI regulation. There will be a tab. So when you click upon that, you will be going to get the all kind of regulation which is related to the import and export, as well as the storage, distribution, sale and manufacture. So by considering these rules and how they are regulating the entire processing product, right? So these are the things. So now we will be going to next. So next time we will be going to cover up. Monday class will be there. So location and surroundings, and we will be going to learn in detail. So if you go through the FSSI guidelines, they given some of the rules and regulations while establishing the processing unit.